environment and circumstances can change them to a certain degree.
I see.
And none of us are just one temperament.
Oh.
We're a blend. And I guess if you got right down to it, if we could be a total blend of 4, 25, 25, 25, we would be perfect people, but we've never reached that. The one temperament that I would like to talk about are the sanguines. These are your people. They are happiest when we're with people. They have loads of friends. To be alone or to do things by themselves is no fun at all. On the other hand, they don't have a very good memory for friends. They forget names. Well, we won't go there.
Just having a good time.
Having a good time is the thing.
Yeah, holding hands and singing Kumbaya.
That's their thing.
That's my daughter. That's my older son.
Your choleric has got to be in charge. You know, it's my way or the highway. And you better shape up and do it my way.
I like that.
That often happens with parents. And in fact, think about the idea of having a choleric child and you're a sanguine, or vice versa. Can you visualize the ramifications of that?
Oh, I live that. I don't have to visualize it.
And then there's the melancholy child.
Okay.
And I guess I would probably find that one the hardest to deal with because they are loners. They are very easily depressed. They're easily down on themselves, but they're highly creative. They are your musicians and your artists and those people that do a lot of things creatively. And then there's the phlegmatic. And it's fun being married to a phlegmatic because it's come see, come saw. Even your children, you know, it's whatever, Mom, whatever, Dad. On the other hand, when they get a notion in their head, they are stubborn.
Oh, wow.
And they are not changed very quickly. So for all their easygoingness, they do have a stubborn problem.
I see.
Now, you can be a combined sanguine choleric, which frankly I am, and that way you are whatever your circumstances call for. I was sharing earlier that as a child and a young person, I was very bashful and shy, and frankly that's still my inside feelings. But because of my work, I was called to be outgoing and to be the first one to step forth. And so my choleric overrode my sanguine. Now that I'm retired, I'm falling back more and more into my original personality.
Does that mean then maybe children have different stages where they have different temperaments? Because I see my 5-year-old who as a baby was very laid back, and as a toddler he was kind of shy. He never talked to anyone outside of the home. Now at school he's opened up and he's leading out in his class. So I'm having a hard time understanding him from one stage to the next.
Yes, absolutely. Environment affects our temperaments quite a bit. And those we live with affect, and how they relate to our particular temperament will make a big difference too. You take a school situation where a teacher insists that you stay in the lines, that you sit in your seat and you never get out of it, and so on and so forth, will frustrate a sanguine child. And that child is probably talking to their neighbor and doing all sorts of things, and the teacher thinks they're not listening, and yet they've heard every word and understand every word.
So is there any way for parents to actually figure out which personality? Like I've gone as an adult and I've had a test and they say I'm a certain personality type, but you don't have that resource necessarily with your kids, or is there some way to do that?
Well, there are books on the market that give you some ideas and help, but let's face it, you can't give a test to a 3-year-old.
Exactly.
What you need to do is to be observant.
I see.
Again, we're talking about time. Time it takes to parent. It isn't just a matter of having a child and having the book and doing everything according to the book. It's a continual evolving of understanding that child and changing you and your methods and how you deal with them. I don't mean changing yourself exactly, but changing your methods. And every child, if you had 4 kids, you'd probably have 4 different personalities. But you got to be able to work with each one of those in a way that is best for them.
Well, how do you keep from having feeling like you have split personality, because there are times they're all bombarding you, and yet they want to communicate in their own way. And some of my friends have tried the one-on-one plan, but that's not always practical. If I'm coming home at the end of the day and I have 3 children and I have a short period of time to spend with them, what are some ways to actually build into the family time that one-on-one communication?
I would like to recommend family dates.
Oh.
You know, like DATES, where you spend unlimited time, or well, I guess it would have to be limited, but where you focus on one child away from the rest of the family. Mm-hmm. And then that child will have their love cup full. And then when these occasions arise where you have everybody pulling at you at once, you have to be honest and say, hey, I'm only one person, and I can only hear one at a time, and you're first, second, third, or whatever method you come up with.
We have a boy and girl night. You know, every Friday night, my wife, stays with my daughter, sleep together actually, and I spend a night together with my boy, and we talk about his struggle and my struggle. So he will understand, what Daddy goes through, and then I begin to understand, what sort of stress that he's dealing with.
That's right.
It's been helpful for us.
I hope you have father-girl night too.
I'm not so sure,
This is really important, because your daughter later on will choose a husband based on her relationship to you.
Oh.
And to build that relationship, you need the father-girl night. And a boy needs the mother-boy night for the very same reason.
I see.
But what if you're not always on the same page, your personalities don't? I find that sometimes you gravitate to the child that's most like you.
Oh, yes.
So that's going to be a hard thing if you...
That's a challenge for the parent. More challenges, you might not believe this, but the parent has the most challenges. And you have to be growing. And beyond all of this, your child has to know that you love them no matter whether they're obedient or what they do or what they say. You may disagree with them. You may wish they wouldn't do it that way, and you may discipline them to stop them from doing something. But through all of that, they need to know that you love them as a person.
That's right.
Thank you, ma'am. When we come back, let's talk about different learning styles. Stay tuned.
We'll put our children first, 'cause Jesus loves them too.
Poverty, illiteracy, woman's workload, abuse. For every woman in need, there is comfort and relief. For every woman who needs healing, there's victory. For every woman in the world, there is a call to minister. Reach out, get involved.